Good evening, gentlemen. You both received your instructions. Shake hands now. Return to your corner to await the starting bell. Good luck.
Macho Camacho, 32 years of age. He will be 33 in May, and he feels that perhaps some of his best days in boxing are now ahead of him. Very impressive against Todd Foster, flooring Foster in the 4th and 5th rounds, and then stopping him midway in round number 5. But Foster also a guy made to order coming in on Camacho, and that's what Luis Maysonet should be doing here tonight. Maysonet, 24 KOs, all within the first 4 rounds. He has been a very busy young fighter at the age of 24. He has had, this is his 12th fight within a year's time, and no question this is the biggest fight of his career. Best fighter he has faced, Ivan Robinson, back last April, and that was his last defeat, going 8 rounds and probably giving the prospect Robinson one of his better fights. But since that, Maysonet has come back and reeled off 8 straight wins, all by knockout, 4 of them in the first round, all of them within 3 rounds, but nothing approaching the opposition that he has in front of him tonight in Hector Camacho, who has been down just once in his career in 52 fights. Camacho knocked down by Reyes Cruz in June of 1988. He had a flash knockdown in the first round of that fight.
A knockdown that we saw, and knockdown from a strong overhand right from Reyes Cruz, the weapon that Luis Maysonet possesses. He says that his style now is better. He says, I used to just go in there and slug. Now I have better defense. I bob and weave more. His best punch still is right hand. In that fight with Robinson that you talked about, he said, I did not move enough. Since that fight, he's tried to move more, and since he's come up with 8 KOs. Moved not only his body, but also his hands, his fists.
All right, analyze what is going through the minds of Camacho now here in round number 1.
Yeah, Hector, getting into the mode of the fight, you establish your jab in that first round. Try to see what your opponent has. He knew a lot about Maysonet. He knew Maysonet would come out and try to land that big overhand right. More focused now, and he's trying to step, to reach up, to the next level of boxing. The level where he can win the big fights against the Felix Trinidads of the world. Okay. Against the Julio Cesar Chavez's of the world.
Get back there. His last loss was to Trinidad in a fight in which, quite frankly, Camacho looking faded, looking old, holding on late in the fight.
Right, but fights also with both of those fighters, fights that he really didn't get beat up. He said he made some mistakes going into the fights. He says, I started too late. He said, I had 2 problems with Chavez. I started too late and too slow. So he only had 2 problems in that fight. He's trying to work on that.
And also he found out he wasn't busy enough before the fights. He has been very, very busy. Yeah. 5 fights in 94, 2 fights in the first 2 months of 95.
Activity is the key.
Fight phone lines open tonight. Who would you like to see Mike Tyson fight after he is released from prison? Release date March 25th. Of these 4 fighters, who would you most like to see matched up with Tyson? George Foreman, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, or Buster Douglas? There are the respective numbers to call, 50 cents per call. And I remind you again that all the USA Network proceeds donated to the Babies and Children's Hospital of New York.
I wonder if those 4 fighters are calling right now, just one after another.
Yeah, all 4 of them. I wonder if they're calling their names.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're calling. Holyfield's calling him. Foreman's calling himself. Douglas is calling himself.
Well, when George Foreman started the comeback, and you saw him many times on the Tuesday night fights, would you ever have thought the appeal of a Foreman-Tyson fight? Without giving away some of the tabulations, and we have not received any yet, but we will update you before we go off the air. Evander Holyfield, who of course beat Buster Douglas, the man who took the title away from Mike Tyson. I think if Mike is calling in, he is dialing Buster Douglas's number. That's the man he wants to fight, erase that defeat, avenge that loss. then it was Holyfield who took the title away from Douglas and was prepared to defend against Tyson when he was in prison. And Riddick Bowe, who hails from the Brooklyn neighborhood close to Tyson, who we understand has been visiting Mike Tyson, but would love to fight Mike Tyson.
Is it in the ring?
Well, you know, it just shows what's going to happen when Mike Tyson gets back in the ring and how that will energize the boxing world, the heavyweight division.
Yeah, he's had 3 years to sit in there and think about what he wants to do when he comes out.
Macho Camacho, who grew up in New York City in Spanish Harlem. He's now actually living back in Puerto Rico. And his whole life has been brought together. His son Hector Jr., who is looking to become a star in the upcoming Olympics. Right now he's the #2 ranked amateur, up to 139 pounds, a junior welterweight.
18-1, Hector Jr., who fought, I'll talk to Hector today, he fought over the weekend.
Which one?
Hector Jr. did. Junior did. I think we would have heard of it.
But which one did
senior.
you talk to?
I talked to Hector Sr., who said Hector Jr. fought over the weekend.
There's that right hand by Maysonet. That is his bread and butter.
His best weapon. He followed Hector Camacho as an amateur, and through his professional career, he said he was great as a lightweight. He says that Camacho's a good fighter, a smart fighter. Tonight, he says he's going to use smart aggression. He said now Hector does not have on like he used to.
Number 3, Al Albert along with the champ Sean O'Grady ringside at the Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut. And it's Hector Macho Camacho on the left, Luis Maysonet on the right. And as you heard, the Macho Man before this fight says he is focused, he will stay busy, and the man on his mind right now is 5-time world champion Pernell Whitaker, who is getting ready for his championship fight against Julio Cesar Vasquez on Saturday for the junior middleweight title, going for title number 6. And we will be dialing up Sweet Pea on the fight phone at the end of this round. Talk about Saturday night and also the possibility of facing Camacho down the road. A minute into round number 3, Luis Maysonet, who was waiting to try to deliver the right hand and to take Camacho out of a possible fight with Whitaker.
Yeah, but you know what? Camacho knows that. He's been hit with very few right hands. Maysonet, the sweeping right hand there. Camacho moving around. Camacho knew what to watch for. He knew Maysonet had a hard right hand. And he knew that Maysonet was going to try to come out and KO him. I like what I see in Hector Camacho, though. He's busy. He's active. He fought in January. He's fighting again this month. He fights the end of March. Has another fight scheduled, and then one the next month.
Well, he says by being that busy, 1, he stays in the public eye, looking good. 2, he stays in the rhythm of the ring, never gets rusty. He also stays out of trouble. You know, in his younger days, he was fighting maybe 2 times a year. And he had just too much time between fights.
In the ring.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Now he's always training for an upcoming fight. One problem for Luis Maysonet, who has that big right hand, which he has not been able to flash as of yet. He just lacks that offensive versatility. If he can't land that right hand, then sometimes he gets confused. And right now, Hector, with the fast hands that he flashed against Todd Foster, has now cut the face of Maysonet. Maysonet is bleeding around that left eye. Oh, there again. Quick moves by Camacho.
Just on that blood. Good combination from Hector. Maysonet is also glove shy. He stopped throwing punches because he'd been missing so many shots that he quit throwing that right hand. Going inside and moving out to end up the round, Hector Camacho.
So that ends the round, and now we will move to the fight phone. And on the other end is Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker, who Saturday will fight for the junior middleweight title against Julio Cesar Vasquez, and has been continually mentioned throughout this night as possibly fighting Camacho down the road. Pernell, can you confirm for us on your end that there are indeed conversations going on in the future with Camacho?
Not at all. I'm not looking forward to fighting that guy. I haven't heard any future comments on fighting him, but I would love to get in there with him just to have fun with him. But I don't. He don't have that much heart. I don't think he can talk it, but he don't really want to get in there with the legend.
So you think he's just talking up and doesn't want to get into the ring with you?
Well, he had about 8 years to do so, you know, and he hasn't. You know, I've been chasing that boy. I chased that kid for about 6 years, and he never wanted to get inside or outside the ring. So why I wait to come back now and want to get in? I don't fight for the money, so don't jump in there with me for the money or for a big payday, because I'm not that type of fighter. I have the love for the game, and I love what I do. I love competing, and if he's not going to compete and he just want to get a big payday, I'm not in Boston for that.
Hey, Pernell, he has his eyes on you. Is there anything that he could do to try to lure you into a fight with him?
Sure, just say something about my family.
Well,
as you know,
I don't know if the new Camacho would do that, though.
No, I'm sure he just say he saw the light. You know, he's seen the light under the tunnel. So maybe we got a more complete, you know, man with the scent back in the game. But I love to see him make a good comeback, and it looks like he's having a great time. He's got the love again for the sport. But I would love to get in there with him if the opportunity presents itself. You know, right now I'm on a full schedule, and I have bigger and better things on my mind for Saturday night. You know, I'm shooting for my 6th world title, and I'm not just I'm just looking forward to doing that. And while I got you guys on the air, I know my family's back home watching this interview, and I'd like to say hi to my wife and kids, Pernell Dominique, Don Tavius, along with my nephew, Donald Bryan, and his friend Jim Staten. Hey, Vaughn.
Pernell, could you just give me a critique of this fight? What do you think of the Macho Man here? I mean, I haven't pitched a shutout so far, not even a fight.
Well, you know, it's just you got to. He's trying to make the fight as easy as possible. I'm sure that's the best you're gonna get out of him. But you got to look at the opposition. You know, I don't fight against guys like that where you're supposed to win. Fights like that only don't make you look good. It make you look even worse, or it gives the other guy a lot of confidence. I would prefer to fight the best.
Has his power increased, Pernell?
Excuse me?
Has his power increased, and why?
I don't see his power has increased any. You know, he's more flat-footed now, but you know, he's still the same old Camacho, same old the guy that wants to do all the punching and never wants to get hit. So you know, but I hopefully he makes a great comeback. You know, I have nothing but, you know, I have great admiration for him and respect for the guy as a fighter.
All right, Pernell, thanks for joining us on the fight phone. Best of luck Saturday. We'll be watching.
Good luck.
All right. Closing seconds now of this round. Pernell Whitaker joining us from Atlantic City on the fight phone. USA's Tuesday night fights. Al Albert with the champ, Sean O'Grady. And we go into the ring. Hector Camacho versus Luis Maysonet. And what do you make out of the conversation with Pernell Whitaker?
Well, Pernell is concentrating, as every fighter should, concentrating on the business at hand, and that is this weekend against Vasquez. He didn't even think about Camacho. And Camacho is going to have to make a statement. He's going to have to take some chances and make a statement with his career and with trying to lure other fighters, big money purses into his part of his career. What I mean by that is he's going to have to face some stiffer competition or continue with the activity and just be patient like he's doing.
Fifth round action is scheduled for 10.
the one thing very important about this fight, you cannot, if you're Camacho, you can't let it drag. And it's all set, the precedent is set on Camacho here. He has a lot riding on his back, because he is the three-time champion of the world, because he is wanting bigger and better fights down the road.
But what Whitaker was talking about,
and he has to give that illusion that we talked about so much.
Yeah, but Hector later in his career also created, it was more than illusion of getting into fights, just playing it safe, just being in there to survive. You know, he goes the distance with Chavez, he goes the distance with Trinidad, holding on, and Canelo Whitaker just doesn't want to get into that stuff. He just doesn't want to be there to give Camacho the payday, and this is what Camacho has to show. He's won his last 5. He's even said himself, you know, I mean, overmatched against some of these opponents. He felt he was 2 levels above Todd Foster.
Yeah, he's a hard guy to fight, too, against these kind of opponents, against Luis Maysonet, the Rusty Derwins. These kind of fighters, he looks spectacular. When he moves up in competition, he holds on and he ties up. And what he is trying to do is he's still trying to learn how to look flashy and good against that next level of competition. He's trying now, one of the things that he's trying to do is trying to become a complete package of a fighter. Taking it more seriously, concentrating more, focusing more. Good combination from Camacho. Straight left, that's where his power is.
Inside 10 seconds to go in the 5th, and we'll pause for a word from your local cable systems. 6th round action. Hector Macho Camacho. He turned pro at the age of 18 in 1980, 14 years ago, and would become a champion at the age of 21, winning the WBC Junior Lightweight crown, beating Bazooka Limon. 2 years later, he would add the lightweight championship over Jose Ramirez in a couple of defenses, and then win a WBO title over Boom Boom Mancini in a controversial decision. That was the junior welterweight crown at 140 pounds, and that was 6 years ago. Wow. Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun.
And right now, Luis Maysonet has been taken by Camacho out of the danger zone. Maysonet, who has 24 KOs in his 28 wins, but all of them have come within the first 4 rounds. 11 first-round knockouts against very questionable opposition, building up his record. But he has never recorded a knockout of his 24 this late in a fight.
Yeah, said his fight plan was pressure the body early and try to land late. If you don't land on the body early, you can't land against a fighter like Hector Camacho on the head late. You have to take that away from him. Camacho says his style is changing. He's more relaxed, more seasoned. Still his best punch is the straight left. Trying to pick up more power, trying to punch harder, more set down his punches, more on his balance. He was relying on his speed. Now he's mixing in the power and the speed.
There's certainly more fire in the body of Hector Camacho a month ago against Todd Foster. He was revved up. He was on a high for that fight. He is now a little more flat-footed in this one.
And that, you fight with emotion. Sometimes you only fight, you rise up to the level of your opposition. You only fight as good as your opposition. And if you're fighting the opposition like Luis Maysonet, although Maysonet is tough, and I give him credit, he's just not the level of a Hector Camacho.
There's also on the marquee card in Atlantic City underneath Pazienza Duran. The excitement was in the air. 30 seconds left in the 6th round.
You really saw an example of it with Roland Cummings, who you saw earlier. He got knocked out in the last round by Ralph Jones, but he has been facing stiffer competition and hasn't been able to rise up. Ralph Jones took him out. Luis Maysonet will hear it again this round from his cornerman Johnny Duke. Keep telling him, put the pressure on him, more punches. They're coming from Hector Camacho.
7th round is coming up, and once again, let's flash up the phone numbers for the last time tonight. Who you'd like to see Mike Tyson fight when he walks from the Indiana prison. So far, these are the updated results. A three-way tie. Foreman, Bowe, or Douglas, with Holyfield lagging in the 4th spot. And now you could give us the chance to break that tie. There are the numbers to call. And once again, 50 cents per call. Surprising?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Which exactly about that surprising?
I felt like, you know, when we first opened this up, I felt like everybody would go in one direction, but they're kind of spreading it out real nicely.
It's just indicating to Tyson that
a lot of options.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of options.
And also that it's also indicating that Evander Holyfield, who has gotten the okay to get back in, has to reestablish himself in the eyes of the public as a bona fide marquee contender.
Good point. Something that Luis Maysonet wishes he could do, but he is just too slow to meet Hector Camacho. Camacho is using his speed, his movement. Camacho has always been great with his lateral movement. Hector can score and then move. And the way he moves, watch him go around to his right. Maysonet is hurt.
Since the loss to Trinidad, Camacho has come back 5-0, and he has knocked down all 5 of his opponents. And now trying to make Luis Maysonet number 6.
Yeah, and this is something that experience teaches a fighter. Look at the intensity level now as compared to the last round with Camacho. The last round, Maysonet was not ready to go. This round, Luis Maysonet is ready to be knocked out.
And Camacho senses it.
Yeah, he knows it. See Maysonet frozen. When he gets hit, he looks away. And he is getting hit solid.
Well, Camacho felt he was 2 levels above Todd Foster. How many levels above Luis Maysonet?
2, 4. I think Maysonet and Todd Foster is a good scrap. Although I don't think Todd Foster is willing to fight anymore. I think he retired after the Camacho fight. But he is several speeds quicker than Maysonet. Maysonet's problem is not enough speed. Hits hard, deliberate, walks in, he's strong, and no speed. Speed beats power.
And a lot of heart hanging in there. Also has to work on the defensive end. Maysonet out of Hartford, Connecticut, originally from Puerto Rico. Spent his last 9 years in Hartford. He works full-time at a recycling plant, and his employer gave him a couple of weeks off just to prepare for this fight.
The end of the fight. Just at the end of that 7th round, Arthur Mercanti had seen enough and walked over and stopped the fight. You know, earlier in that round, on a couple of occasions, Maysonet had been out on his feet. Arthur Mercanti wasted no time in stopping it, though.
The veteran referee of over 100 world championship fights, very quick to step in. He knew Luis Maysonet was going nowhere, and Camacho putting on the pressure, although the fans did not agree, as this ring was pelted by peanuts. And I think we need a little liquid refreshment right now to go with the peanuts in the ring. But right now being refreshed is Hector Camacho, who stops another fighter in this comeback. 6th straight win after the defeat at the hands of Felix Trinidad, and Camacho wins the 50th of his career. 50 victories and 3 defeats. The losses at the hands of Haugen, Chavez, and Trinidad. All right, let's get the pronouncement here up in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee stops this contest at the end of round 7. The winner by technical knockout, Hector Macho Camacho.
Unpopular with the fans here, the fact that that fight was stopped. But Hector